Hello, my name is James Fay, and I'm presenting this work on behalf of my co-authors, Ella Dagan, Elena Marquez-Segura, and Catherine Isbister. This project is being conducted in collaboration with the Game Academy and Education Training Research. Within the project described in our paper, we designed and deployed an informal STEM learning camp aimed at increasing STEM interest and engagement in middle school age girls by combining maker-style crafting exercises, social wearables, and challenges within a LARP live-action role-playing context. While we continue to iterate this design, we're here to report the positive shifts in interest that came during our first deployment in the summer of 2021, as well as provide design insights for those wishing to create similar informal learning experiences. I'll begin with background on the different subject areas that informed this project. The key motivation of this project is the continued need to address the gap in representation of women in STEM. Even with the drive towards increasing representation in the computing industry in recent years, women are still drastically underrepresented as compared to their proportion in the general population. Prior research into the obstacles that girls face when entering into STEM fields have identified not just a skill and knowledge gap, but also an identity gap. This gap refers to the work needed for girls and other represented communities in STEM to visualize themselves taking on STEM roles and participating in STEM careers. LARPing, or live action role-playing, has been used in educational contexts to help students learn a range of subject matters, including history, healthcare, and the scientific method. And it works on multiple levels to engage learners cognitively, emotionally, and behaviorally. Finally, we draw upon other initiatives teaching girls computational skills through more accessible components, including efforts that focus on wearables, e-textiles, and other hardware-based projects. E-textiles have been shown to provide an effective way to increase interest in STEM to populations not typically targeted by traditional STEM outreach. Camp was designed to run for 5 days in succession. Campers would take on the role of agents and training as part of the Anywhere Academy, a secret organization tasked with traveling to different dimensions to establish diplomatic ties and right wrongs. Campers would do so through the use of wearable electronics that they program to accomplish a variety of different missions. Their days would be divided between classes that focus on different hardware components, as well as missions that immediately called upon those skills that they learned in these classes. Over the course of the camp, campers would learn how to use the built-in sensors and buttons on the BBC microbit to change the colors and patterns of addressable LEDs, produce monophonic audio, as well as send and receive radio signals with each other. Campers would be able to participate in 3 different mission chains, referred to as plots, that were separated by theme and setting. Within these worlds, campers create wearables for expression to augment their role-playing performance and solve technical challenges. Elfame, which is a fairy-themed world in which campers need to establish diplomatic ties with a fairy prince that has been behaving strangely as of late. Metro City, a world themed around superheroes where campers create their own superhero identity and challenge a new villain that is terrorizing the city. And finally, Earhart Station, a space station that the Academy has lost contact with, and the campers need to work together to bring the station back online and solve the mystery of why it disappeared. Getting into the first camp deployment, the camp was run for 5 days from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at a community center in a U.S. city in July of 2021 by our nonprofit partner, the Game Academy. The research team was committed to offering the opportunity to girls with less means, and so we selected prospective campers from a pool using their school's percentage of free lunch users as a proxy for lower family income. We had 10 campers on the first day, with 9 returning to finish the rest of the camp. Within the context of the LARP, researchers took on the role of non-player characters, which allowed us to conduct observations and informal interviews during the camp activities. Roles were signified by colored lab coats, with campers wearing white, facilitators wearing blue, and researchers wearing green. Before the camp began, each girl filled out a pre-survey online that engaged their interest in coding, design, and teamwork. Following that, campers filled out a post-survey asking similar questions so we could observe shifts in their attitudes. We also conducted individual semi-structured interviews with each camper on the last day of the camp. And our external evaluators followed up with 6 of the 9 campers a few days after the camp with additional questions aimed at gaining concrete design feedback. In addition to these direct questions to the campers, we also asked the camp facilitators to complete a daily log with their observations about the camp. To analyze this data, we transcribed all of the interviews using a top-down thematic analysis to evaluate the objectives we had for the camp, worked from the campers' perspective, as well as those of the facilitators and the research observers. Survey data shows a general trend towards more confidence and interest in designing, making, coding, and working with circuits and electronics among the girls. Specifically, this change in the level of confidence was apparent in questions about discussing code, using circuits and electronics, computer science in general, as well as reusing others' code. From the post-interviews with campers, we found that they supported the idea that this combination of crafting, coding, LARP, and social challenges worked to increase their confidence and sense of community over the course of the camp. And these results from the interviews were supported by researcher observations of campers collaboratively designing technology interactions, supporting and celebrating each other's work, as well as the development of inside jokes and shared rituals that demonstrated the development of community. We detail these observations in a section of the paper titled Vignettes, which I encourage you to read further. Campers cited the LARP context as one of the factors that made their camp experience worth it, that helped them form a cohesive community and supported an increased interest in learning computational skills. The context that they were playing and learning in gave them a shared set of experiences and goals. Adding in this social drive provided momentum to their learning, and participating in the LARP served as a positive feedback loop to continue engaging with the overall experience. Based on our observations, we found this type of framing story very powerful in fostering a vibrant, positive, and low-stress learning environment. Because of the variety of activities that go into participating in a LARP, many campers had a variety of avenues through which to engage with the camp material, some of which many campers had zero previous experience with. A group debrief at the end of each day was another key opportunity for community to develop. Through prompting questions from the facilitators, the campers reflected on their experience daily, and this also worked to reinforce their shared group experience. Group reflection and debriefing is a key component in the overall LARP experience as a ritual that leads to the formation of community. We plan to iterate the camp's design in preparation for future instances of the camp, building on the learnings from this first deployment. In the long run, our intent is to build a camp-in-the-box version that allows others to run the camp in diverse contexts. One key goal is to lower the skill threshold required to hold a camp of this complexity so as to not rely as heavily on highly skilled facilitators improvising extensively on the fly. While we are adapting camp materials to explicitly allow for and include flexible elements to aid this, we also plan to develop materials to onboard and skill up potential facilitators. Finally, this work was made possible by a generous grant from the National Science Foundation and was partially supported by the Madrid government. We would like to thank our partners at the Game Academy and Education Training Research, as well as everyone that worked to make this camp possible. Thank you all for your time and attention.